out officially for December, so the mission continues, and now we've got a break here to get our bodies right, get our minds right, and really get a lot better in practice. A really great opportunity for us to get better because it's only getting harder from here. So, great job, way to stay together. I'm super proud of you, and I challenged you before the game, whose life are you going to impact, and there's no doubt about it. Y'all impacted some lives today in the way that you played, the way you competed, the way that you carried yourselves, and the way that you just showed them what strong, fierce, competitive women look like. So, well done.
Hello again, everyone, and welcome to the Orange Power Podcast. Our first with Coach Jacie Hoyt, the head coach of the Oklahoma State Cowgirls. We're excited to introduce her to this audience. Coach, we've had so many, the radio, obviously the TV on other sides, the games, the fans. But here's yet another audience, and some of the same, but a lot of new people as well. Just kind of the excitement of being new, right?
It's been fun. I've done so many interviews, and we've had a lot of time together, and sometimes it's hard to keep it straight who I've told what. But that's a good problem to have, and I think that's one of the things that makes Oklahoma State so special that I've appreciated is the amount of interviews, the amount of interest that people care here, and that's really special for me.
And I think this is interesting to me because you and I had a conversation way early on, just you and I actually talking, and we were talking about your duties at Kansas City. And you said, here I had to do it all. At Oklahoma State, I don't even know I had people that do certain things. How much of that delegating and figuring out who's where to do what, how much of that have you figured out so far?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely, goes in waves. But I think that time in Kansas City, I really appreciate because it, I had to do things. I had to do everything. And so I think that really built a great work ethic in me. But it is very nice having people who can take that stuff off your plate because the bottom line is, the stakes are higher. And you do have to put more energy into certain things. So it's been great having all the help around, and I don't have a problem delegating, but I do have to, consciously remind myself that I have more help here.
Interesting verbiage you used as well. You said at KC, I was spoiled. Now, a lot of people would go, well, she's spoiled here because now she's got the media people and she's got radio and she's got... There, you didn't have that, and yet you used the word spoiled there, which would tell me that you truly did enjoy having a chance to be a part of all of those things and knowing, okay, and maybe even gave us a hint that you might be a little bit of a workaholic.
I do. I love, I don't know. I guess it's the way that I grew up, but, just a very blue-collar family. After school, my parents would teach all day long, and then after school, I'm in the gym at both of their practices, so you don't get home until 8 o'clock at night, and then you wake up and do it all over again. So it is just, how I'm wired. But I think that there's beauty in being able to have control and kind of have your fingerprints on everything. But you can't do that at this level either. So I understand that balance.
Well, and the great thing is having qualified people that you can help guide, but then can go do their job as well, right?
Absolutely. And that's why, it's so crucial for coaches to hire well and put people around them who, are going to understand the assignment and be 2 feet in on the mission that you're moving forward on. So
let me ask you about management and from a couple of different angles. Let's start with time management. I mean, have you figured out your time management and where I have a little more time that this didn't take as long because I had help, so I need to delegate a little more time here or assign time. How are you doing with time management?
Not very well. I just think that the first year anyone would tell you, and I have the best help around me here from a head coaching standpoint, Kenny G, Coach Boynton, who all have just been so supportive. Hey, just get through this first year. So I think that things will calm down and slow down, and I'll understand the rhythms that come with it. But there's just a lot. There's a lot that comes with it. So I think, hopefully in a year I'll have it figured out.
Game management. The game's the same at Kansas City as it is here, but it is, again, there's still a little different feel to the game here. How have you differed, and how different is it, you as a game manager?
Yeah, I mean, I love our fans. I love being at home, it's really special. And I think just from a production standpoint, it is really so much better here. And I just so appreciate that. But the game is the game. Basketball is still basketball. And when I was in Kansas City, that was my first opportunity to be a head coach. And so, it felt new and different in different ways than what it does now. But I mean, I've grown up being around basketball my whole life,
Yeah.
and being able to play for my mom or watch my mom in her high school programs, even though it's obviously a completely different level, the standard, the expectations are still the same, and that is the utmost highest. Your best has to be, winnable.
Yeah.
And so I would say that's really has never been uncomfortable for me. It's just the standard that I have for myself.
Sure.
And no one is ever going to have a higher standard than I'm
Yeah.
going to have. So I put that pressure on myself, but also that's comfortable for me.
The one thing that might be different here versus Kansas City, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, depth. So talk about depth management, because that is obviously a luxury, but it is how you control the game as a head coach. It's obviously a little different.
It's very different. I would say that at a mid-major like where I was, you're maybe going to have, 2 or 3 really, really great players, and the rest are, not that they're not good players, but just more role players and kind of understand, maybe a different mindset that they're lucky and happy to be there. And I'm not saying that in a negative way. It just is what it is. But here, we got some really great kids and transferred from, successful programs with high expectations for themselves. So that management has been very different and something that you have to work at every single day, just keeping people on board, maybe when things aren't going as well for them as they expected, or, that they're used to from where they
Right.
came from. So I would say it's a little more probably like a pro team in that sense, just managing egos and pride. And when I say egos and pride, I'm saying that's a good thing, that they have that, but it is sometimes difficult as a coach.
Well, and I've talked to a lot of Oklahoma State coaches, and one of them that stands out is Chris Young, and talking about, in tennis you have 1 through 6 positions, right? The number one's the best player, ranks them all the way down to 6, and that's you compete against the other team in the same area. He doesn't go out and recruit a 4. He doesn't recruit somebody to fit that 5 spot. He's recruiting 1s all the way across, and then you guys figure it out when we get in practice where you guys land. And that's going to be the same for you, obviously. I mean, you're going to have some terrific players, but then there's going to be that point guard that's maybe better than what you got, right? But they want to be an Oklahoma State Cowgirl. That's the great part about a program like Oklahoma State is you're not recruiting 6 through 10, 12. Right. You're recruiting all top 5 kids if you can make that happen.
Absolutely. We want to go out there and just get the best that we can. But at the end of the day, there's only 200 minutes in a game, right? So it just is what it is. But I think that the best thing that we have going for us now is that our players came because they wanted to be a part of Oklahoma State women's basketball, Cowgirl basketball, and really lay a foundation that we feel like we're all doing something really special. And so I think that when you have like-minded people on a mission, then a lot of that stuff really takes care of itself. And I feel very fortunate with the team that we've been able to put together.
Well, and let's talk about the current team, okay? So you've got 5 kids that are in their 5th year. You and I have talked about this a number of times. You said, yeah, this is kind of the way we've been since we got here. This is the way it goes, and I'm glad the fans get a chance to see it. But what you guys have done is played with terrific chemistry, and even though there are so many kids that are new to Oklahoma State, they're not new to basketball, but they're new here. But they don't look like they're playing like they've never played with one another. There is so much continuity on the floor. And that has been, honestly, that's probably been my biggest surprise, is how fluid new kids can come together and gel as quickly as this group has.
Well, I think it goes back to just that mission, right? And when everyone came here for the same reason, then all those, outside kind of distractions and noises, that goes away because, you got your eyes fixed on what we're trying to do here. And so I think, what you've been able to see is just a very mature group, right? And there is something to be said about when it's your 5th year and you have that understanding, there is totality here. This is it. I think that makes you want to live a little bit different, work a little bit harder, do things in a different way, understanding this is it for me. And so I think that a lot of that comes from the maturity and experience of the roster that we've put together, but then also just like-minded, people on the same mission.
4 kids on this team have now reached the 1,000 point plateau. Claire Chastain just got there the other night. Coach, that's a lot of points.
It is a lot of points, and I think it's just, I've never been fortunate to coach so many scorers, and it's so fun because, if Claire has an off night, that Mimi or Lexi or Taylin, you just have a whole group of players who can step up and fill that role. So it's been fun just having that balance.
All that just put together, get your roster together. Okay, but what? And they look good. Well, what is the result? Well, the result is you've won 80% of your first 10 games. A terrific start, a very fast start, and I would think as a first-year head coach anywhere, you'll take 80% winning percentage all year long.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think the thing I'm most proud of is just the way that we've won. And we've got some good quality wins, that Florida State game was huge for us in Cancun, and I think gave our players just a tremendous amount of confidence of what we can accomplish this year. And, we're not going to let up anytime soon.
Yeah, Florida State, Coach, going into the week, number 41 in the net. So a top 50 quad one type win. They're 9-1. Oh, yeah, that one is Oklahoma State. You had a good win against Missouri State. So a good schedule, a rigorous schedule, a complicated because compact schedule there for a while. And you guys have navigated that beautifully so far.
Yeah, and a lot of that is just luck sometimes, with injuries and timing and things. But I think that what we're getting a taste of now really started in the summer for us. We had as great of a summer as I've ever been a part of as a coach, not just on the floor, but just seeing that chemistry kind of come together off the floor as well. And it feels like a sisterhood. It's just, it's pretty neat to be a part of. So we're having fun with it.
Well, and so let's talk more specifically about the last couple of ball games. Let's start with North Texas, Coach. And for her efforts, Taylin Collins was the current Big 12 Player of the Week. 23 rebounds. She tied Natasha Mack for the most rebounds in a single game. 23 rebounds. What an effort by Taylin.
She's a special athlete. As long as I've been around the game, I don't know that I've ever seen an athlete quite like Taylin. And that's a lot because I was an assistant at Kansas State, and got a taste of the Big 12 and just been around the game my whole life. So what a testament to her. But I think the thing that I'm most excited about is just that I feel like she's just now tapping into her potential, and I joked with her after the game. I said, okay, this is the standard now, 20 rebounds a game. But she really can do it, and it's just fun watching that light, kind of click for her.
That was the 7th win. And then you got your 8th against Loyola Marymount. And again, we had a ton of kids. It was classroom at the court day. 23, 24, 25 schools represented, 2,500 kids, whatever it was. But in that one, Leor Garzon got her second 20-plus point performance. Had 20 against North Texas, had 21 there coming off the bench. And that seems to be a kid right now that's starting to figure some things out.
She is. She's starting to figure things out in a lot of different areas. She's in a very different role than what she's ever been. She transferred here from a really great Villanova team and, was the second leading scorer on that team. So now we're asking her, to come off the bench and kind of play a different role. But I think she's starting to understand the power in that. And we're seeing her embrace it a little bit more. And her game as a result of that.
She has certainly taken on that role with great opportunity and has done a fantastic job. So let's look ahead real quickly, Coach. A little bit of time off here now between the next one we're going to be facing UNLV. And you've really kind of put an emphasis out there with the fans that, hey, this is a really good UNLV team. We really need to get some fans in here on December 18th.
Well, I respect them tremendously. They're a great team. They won their conference last year in a really dominant way. They shoulda, woulda, coulda beat Arizona in the NCAA tournament last year, and that would have been a huge upset. And all those players are back. So just a team that I really respect, and I know we're going to get their best shot. And I'm looking forward to just, being battle-tested in a different way. It's a great opportunity for us.
Get your tickets December 18th to see this Cowgirl team, which is having a tremendous season. Again, December 18th against UNLV. Coach, going to look forward to this all year long, get a chance to learn more about you and the players and those sorts of things. So enjoyed you coming out, and we will see you again next time.
All right, thank you.
We'll see you guys next time as well. For Coach Jacie Hoyt, I'm Casey Kendrick. We'll see you next time on the Orange Power Podcast.